This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code GOLFSGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And finally, head over to the App Store to get the SGPN app to see all of our pods, all of our posts. App Store, SGPN app, everything we have is up there. So do that whenever you can. It helps us out a ton. So Farmers Insurance Open got a very, very special guest, my guy at Beating the Bookie, South Florida's own. Whether he knows it or not, he helped me get into this space 5, 6, 7 years ago. So shout out BTB. We're live. Let's talk some golf. Ready to talk some. So happy to have you on for the Farmers.
Yeah, happy to be on, first time on this pod. And, I do remember when I used to talk to you, years ago.
Yeah.
Seems like a long, long time ago, but time flies. So, happy to see that you got your own pod now. So, it looks like things are going well.
Yeah, definitely. And we both had some nice winners last week. I had Sepp and you had JT Poston first round leader. You always have those. I always go on there and see you have some crazy first round leader picks. Like whether I'm just scrolling on Twitter, it's like, oh, BTB hit another first round leader. So talk to me a little bit about your process for picking not only outrights, first round leaders, just how you're betting a golf tournament. What are you doing on that Monday, Tuesday afternoon to get yourself going?
I would have rather hit Straka, to be honest.
Yeah.
70 to 1 pays a lot better than 25 to 1. But last week the Amex is a little different than most tournaments. Obviously, you have the three, you have the three courses, and I thought that one was really easier. Obviously, easier to pick. You have lower odds on JP Poston because of the three courses, but I just look at course familiarity, obviously, and then there's obviously guys who start fast, right? There's like some notorious fast starters, right? Like when Hideki Matsuyama plays well, generally he starts out hot, right? Like first round lead, 64, stuff like that. And same with Poston, right? He's like a front runner.
Oh,
I think
sure.
what was it, a couple years ago? Poston was like one of only two guys that went wire to wire.
Yep.
I feel like a couple of his wins have been that. I feel like a couple of his wins have been that way. And I just like for that tournament last week, I just looked at who he's playing with, who's he's going up against on that course that day, and it wasn't the strongest of the field, and a lot of the guys you can just cancel out right away. I'm not going to take somebody at plus 800 to be the round leader, for first round and stuff, and unless it's like Rory at the
Quail Hollow.
Yes, I mean, so I just Poston. I'm familiar with the guy. I play like a lot of the same guys, over and over again because they always seem to get the job done. Like I used to just play Jordan Spieth first round leader all the time because first round he would show up and he probably will melt down, but first round he usually came to play. So I just play like a lot of guys that I always play. So it's not really, and I look at obviously a lot of recent form, right? Like it's harder. Obviously to play a guy who's cold, and I saw, Jay Poston had played well in Hawaii. So, he was bringing that into the MX where he had played well before. So I just kind of like, use familiarity with the courses and guys who are playing well, stuff like that. It's hard for me to take somebody who's, I don't really, I know a lot of people, they'll do it anyways, but I hate to play golfers who are cold, stuff like that. That's why, Straka coming into like the MX was playing well. So I didn't have him. And looking back on it, I'm like, damn, I missed that, missed that chance. But I also play more first round leaders than the full tournament because I know people don't agree with this, but I think it's easier the guys that I pick, I feel like it's easier for them to be the leader for one round than it is to be a leader at the end, right? So, there's more variance, obviously, but those guys consistently get it done. And I've had more success with first round leaders than overall tournament winners. So, and plus, there's much less heartbreak for first round leaders because, like, if you have Straka, he was up big going into Sunday, right? Like you had him all week 70 to 1. You're just waiting to catch it, and then it's like he does like a Harris English and blows a 5-shot lead in the 4 holes.
Yeah.
like the
I mean,
Travelers
Daniel
or
Berger at the Honda, I had that a few years ago. He had a 6-shot lead going into the round
I
four.
had
And
that too.
yeah,
I had that too.
18-1. That was tough.
That was the
And,
worst.
and,
And
and
Shane Lowry
Straka
caught
won
it.
that. Yeah,
I
and
thought,
Straka ended up winning.
and Shane Lowry got second, right?
Yeah, Shane Lowry was leading on 18, then it started to rain, and Straka got in
Yeah.
before, and Shane Lowry blew that. So, yeah, that was tough. But I like what your
And
thoughts.
Berger couldn't even. Berger got the yips. I mean, he forgot
Oh
how to
yeah,
play that day.
that
I
like
thought it
ruined
was
his
money in the
career.
bank too. I thought that was money in the
Same.
bank. So that's why like those full tournament bets sometimes they're tough, man. They're just really tough to sweat out, you know. So I just prefer the first round leaders.
Yeah, I mean, I give you props for those first round leaders. I'm opposite, which is just crazy. I do better with full tournament 72 holes because first round leaders are just seem so volatile to me. But guys like JT Poston, he's always like once he gets off to you see the notification, he's -2 through 3. Oh, you know we're off to the races. JT Poston, once he gets going, he's a microwave. Once he figures it out, he
Yes.
gets clicking. So talking about Torrey Pines, is there anything in terms of a course fit or handicapping wise that you do differently around Torrey Pines? We know it's a big golf course. So what are some Torrey Pines keys that you're looking for when you're looking at the odds board?
Just course history here. I'm a big course history person. You know, I don't like I'm a big course history person, but also like a recent form. Like, so if somebody,
Makes sense.
if I've banned somebody, like last week I had 2 max plays. One was Nick Dunlap to beat and plus 125 to beat Kurt Kitayama, which cashed. And then I had Sung JM top 20. I'm thinking, oh, he's going to dominate the Amex, right? And he just didn't show up. Like, I hate him. So, like, right now I hate Sung JM. So this week I'm fading him. I'm taking Matsuyama -130 in a matchup over him because just recent form. And I know, Hideki's not going to let me down with, Sung JM. 50% of the time he lets you down, right? So I don't trust him anymore. There's guys I don't trust that like I just like I'm just like I don't trust them. I just can't bet them. And then that second where I do trust them, it's just like they totally screw me. So
right.
But for this course, I just look at a lot of course history, how they're playing coming into here. Like a guy like Jason Day, he's having a solid start to the season. When he get third at the Amex. And he has a great course history here, right? Like I think he has 2 top 7s the last 3 years.
Yeah. Played here
so
15 times, only missed like 3 cuts, and he's got a ton of T10s. He loves it here.
Yeah, I mean, I look at guys. Obviously, if somebody's playing the course the first time, like I'm not really big into that. Or like a guy like Ludwig, who's the favorite, but I feel like he doesn't have a lot of events under his belt this year. Coming off injuries, it's just really hard for me to back a guy like that. But yeah, definitely course history. I know Max Homa, has a great course history here, but he's playing so bad, coming into this. So I think it's a pretty good mix between, course history, recent form. Obviously, what is it? The South course here that plays much easier.
The North is the easier one.
Yeah. The North plays much easier. So the first 2 days, you just want to make it to the weekend, right? Like and stay close up front. But also for outrights, I find a lot of the time, especially with live betting, for outrights, you can like get a better number after the tournament starts. Especially if a guy's in like a late tee time and somebody tees off early and they come out, hot out the gates, you can always get a better number. But it's just for this course, it's a lot of course history.
Yeah, you're going to see some guys who shoot around even par on the South course on day one, and they're going to be 6 or 7 shots behind the lead because someone's on the North course on day one, and you might get a great number on him. For example, like say Jason Day, you like him maybe 25-1. He shoots even par on the South course. I'm not sure where he's playing, but he could be 45-1 after day one and just be right there because he'll have the North course on Friday. But I do think with course history this year, you can take more chances than normal because this is the weakest Farmers Insurance field we've seen in a decade. So if you look at a guy who has kind of shitty course history, take that with a grain of salt because if he's played here a ton, he's probably playing here for a reason, and he's going against bums this year opposed to Rory, Rahm, and the best players in the world every other year. So no one's playing this event, and no one's playing this event for a reason because I'm assuming that they're going to have the Genesis here in a few weeks, 4 days in the South course. So everyone's like, I'll just wait to play that until in 2 weeks. So let's transition into the odds board. You mentioned Ludwig, mentioned Hideki. Is there anyone at the top that you have a preference in, whether it's Ludwig or Hideki, and are you going to go to the top in your betting card, or you're going to go down the board a little more?
Yeah, I'm not going to take Ludwig just because, he did get fifth at the Century, but like I said, he's coming out that injury, and I just I don't really fully trust him yet. I mean, he did get 9th place here last year, but it's just he's only played this course once.
Yeah, 9-1, no reason.
One tournament here. I'm not going to. He's not prime John Rahm, right?
Right.
Plus 900 is prime John Rahm number. I'm not going to take him at plus 900. I just refuse to. So he might win, but I'm not going to bet him at plus 900 because his odds, unless he comes out piping hot, they're not going to get any worse than that, right? So just Ludwig is a pass for me. Hideki, I took some Hideki plus 1200 at Bet Online just because he's a very streaky golfer, right? He won the Century. Right, he got 16th at the Sony. In the last couple of years, he's been playing some great golf, and Hideki is always one of those guys that I can always trust, right? He's just Mr. Dependable. And when he gets going, he's posting, right? When he gets hot on that streak, he's birdie, par, eagle.
Take advantage of it.
He gets that streak going, and he's one of my favorite golfers to bet. Because he's always comes out hot in the first round when he plays well. So I don't see any first round leader odds yet so far, but I definitely prefer to play the first round leader odds for him over, the full tournament odds, right? So, but yeah, I do like Hideki. I like Zalatoris, because, Will's coming off, obviously, the back surgery. Will was one of my guys, actually. So
yeah, right over my shoulder. My favorite golfer in the world, for sure.
Is he?
Yeah, I don't know why I love him, but he's probably all the heartbreak because I bet him so many times in so many majors that he came second in. All the heartbreak just resonated with me. So yeah,
he's a sports bettor. He's a sports bettor.
Oh, for sure.
I tell you that.
I fuck with Billy.
But
so you like Billy this week?
Yeah, I like him this week. He's got 3 top 13s the last 4 years here, right? And he missed the cut. He missed the cut here in 2023. Right. I think that's right before before he got surgery, right? So, 7th, 2nd, and 13th here last year. And the 13th here last year was when he was just coming back, right? From injury. So, 26th at the Century, which is not great. Tied for 12th at the Amex. So I'm taking some Willie, probably, plus 115 for a top 20.
Yeah, I like that.
He's one of those horses for courses, right? And he plays this place. He plays this place great, and I see plus 2,200. So I'll probably take a half unit on him at plus 2,200 to win because, like you said, with this watered down field, there's no Xanders here. There's no, Justin Thomas. The field is very watered down, and which is crazy because a couple of weeks ago they had everybody in this field, right? So
yeah,
I do like Zalatoris. I do like Zalatoris because he's still Zalatoris he's grinding right now. He's just it's he's trying to play every shot he's making his comeback, right? So he's got a goal. He wants to win a tournament, but I just feel like he's out there grinding right now. I like how he's playing. So, I definitely prefer to play him at 22-1 over Tony Finau, for example. So
yeah, Tony Finau does not care about winning golf tournaments. He cares about hanging out with his children and just minting top 8s. He's not going to win. Zalatoris, there's not many Zalatoris golf courses on the PGA Tour rotation, but this is surely one of them. You play Zalatoris in tougher, difficult conditions, long rough, heavy tee to green game, and that's what Zalatoris is. And when I was at at Kapalua, sorry, I saw Will Zalatoris obviously practicing, and he looked as good as he's looked since he was contending in majors. So, like you said, I don't think he's quite back yet, but I think he's on a great path to being back. And with this watered down field, sure, he could definitely get in the mix and maybe pop one off. 22-1. This is definitely a peak in pricing for Zalatoris in the last 2 years. So I might pass in that regard, but I do think he's going to play well and have a good week. I'm going to go down towards Sahith Theegala at 30-1. I just think that I don't think there's a course fit for Sahith Theegala. I think you bet Sahith Theegala when the number's right. And look, think about the Sony or the Century when he was 25-1, 22-1 in an elite field. Now he's 8 points higher, 5 points higher in a shit field. Just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. He can pop on a big golf course. He can pop at the Travelers. Just you play Sahith when the number is right, when he's going under the radar. So I'm going to take my shot with Sahith at 30 for sure. He's a California guy. He's won in California. I'm down for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 2 years removed from getting a fourth place here, so
Yeah.
he's one of those guys, and he's another one of those guys that can turn along quick, and he's another fast starter.
Yeah.
Right. So we've seen him have quite a few first round leads over the years. So yeah, I mean, I definitely
probably around 35 to 1 first round leader, maybe. I like that too.
And I do like Jason Day, top 20 plus 115. Just because his course history here is among the best, obviously. He did miss the cut last year, but I feel like since then he really turned around his game. He had his best season last year in quite some time. He got sixth at the what is that? Whatever. Anyways, he got 40th at the Century. Not great. I mean, obviously, but he got third at the MX. He was right behind Sepp for pretty much all the time. And like I said, he knows his course very well. He's probably played this course more than anybody in this field. So I like, Jason Day, top 20 plus 120.
Yeah, that should be.
I'll probably take some top 10 plus 250. So, I do like Jason Day. He's been playing some good golf.
Let's go down towards this middle of the odds board range, 40 to 60. I'll rattle off some names. If you like anyone, stop me. Luke Clanton, 40 to 1. Siwoo Kim, Ben Griffin, Aaron Rai, Stefan Jaeger, Austin Eckroat, Thomas Dietrich, Nicholas Norgard. Anyone over there catching your eye? You have any inkling?
I think it's crazy. Luke Clanton's 40.
Right.
40 to 1. And just because he's he's been playing some great golf. He's pretty much top 10 in every category right now on tour. Yeah. But he did miss the cut at the Sony. He's never played this course before, so it's really tough to back him unless he's had some fantastic practice rounds or something like that. But it's just tough for me to back him. I do like Bo Hostler. He's got 2 top 10s here in his last
California
5 years.
Specialist. I like it.
Sprinkled with 3 missed cuts in between, but he got 12th at the MX. So he's a guy who when he plays well, he keeps it active for a few tournaments. So I kind of like him at 45 to 1, maybe it's a quarter of a unit, something like that. Another guy who I don't trust is Steven Jaeger. I mean, I had him at the Sony, and I don't understand what he was. I still don't understand what he was thinking on that tee shot. On 16, he drives it over some guy's roof onto the street, onto literally the residential street, and then he's looking in the pool.
He took bomb and gouge to a different level. He was on every tee box swinging harder than anyone's ever swung before. It was funny to watch. It hurts for you that you had him, but I had Spawn, so I was sweating in my own regard. And then I just see Jaeger. I'm like, what is this guy doing? And then him on 18, not hitting driver and going in the bunker. I was like, what is this guy? Absolutely lost. But so yeah, Jaeger, he played really well here last year, but I don't think I trust him either at this number. I'd rather if he was 80 to 1, 100 to 1, sure. But Jaeger, I think we can do better than him. I like what you said about Bo Hostler. And it's funny about Luke Clanton. You said it's funny that he's 40 to 1. In fields when Nick Dunlap's in there, Nick Dunlap is double the odds of Luke Clanton every single time. It makes no sense. Nick Dunlap's won twice in a year and he's 21 years old. Luke Clanton hasn't won shit and he's not even a PGA Tour member. It just doesn't make sense with some of these odds. Even Sepp Straka last week, JJ Spawn was 40 to 1 and Sepp was 70 to 1. Makes no sense. You just got to see those things and hopefully take advantage of them. So, we'll move down a little bit. I do like a guy named Nicholas Norgard, who's 55 to 1. He came over from the DP World Tour. I got him at 90 to 1 on a different book, but this guy paved his way from the DP World Tour, finishing top 10, and he's an absolute masher off the tee. And at Torrey Pines, you have to be long and straight off the tee. Norgard hits a Rory level, truly Rory level driving. The rest of his game is hit or miss, and we don't know what he's going to be thinking in his first ever PGA Tour start this season. Finished T4 in Dubai last week in a loaded Dubai field. Rory, Rahm, and all those guys were in that field. So he's coming in good form. He's won before on the DP World Tour. He's also blown a ton of leads. probably definitely surely a better first round leader play than a outright play. I will definitely say that. But I don't really bet first round leaders, so I'm just going to stick with my outright. Down towards the 70, 80, 90 to 1 range before we cap it off in the triple digits. I'll rattle off a few names. Michael Thorbjornsen is a name who is like almost double the odds of Luke Clanton, and they're a similar age, similar style game. Harris English, you mentioned him before, 80 to 1. Gary Woodland's got some great course history. I like Alex Smalley at 80 to 1. He's in some of the best ball striking form in the last 2 years. And when Alex Smalley gets it going into ball striking, he keeps it going. Could be a really nice positional play. Anyone down here in this odds range that you want to mention?
Justin Rose has a great course history here also.
Yeah.
And, he's 70 to 1 and, he's plus 550 for a top 10. So, I'll probably take like a half unit on him to finish top 10. He hasn't played an event this year so far, so he's well rested coming in. He had a pretty solid season last year. He didn't close, very much, when he had the lead and stuff, but I definitely think it's possible for him to get top 10 here and at, plus 550 with what I'm seeing right now. It's definitely worth like a half unit on Justin Rose.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with you. I don't know if I could see Rose winning this week. Hasn't played this year, and he's past his prime for sure. No one would say that he's not, but it is a Ryder Cup year. Rose cares about Ryder Cup years. He puts the pedal down in those regards. This is a golf course he's very familiar with. I just think he's kind of lost a step in terms of the younger guy just being longer, straighter, more consistent. But I'll never count Justin Rose out. I definitely prefer him for a positional rather than an outright. Let's go down to triple digits. Look, talk about a few bombs, and then we'll wrap this up. I like Thurston Lawrence, plus 100, plus 110 to 1. He's a guy who can easily be 35 to 1 in a weak field or 200 to 1, finish first or last. He pops in no rhyme or reason, but he's super long off the tee. This dude almost won the Open out of nowhere. So Lawrence, when he gets really long odds, I like to throw some flyers at him, even on the DP World Tour. He's proven it to be able to do it in some bigger fields. So I think that's a decent bet. Pavone, if Pavone can win last year, Lawrence can easily win. So anyone triple digits that's catching your eye?
I might, Pavone, I'm not really a huge fan of the French golfers, to be honest, because they always let me down. But Pavone, being, plus 900 for a top 10 finish, that's pretty good for, a former winner here last year. And, he's defending his title. And, guys have had success, back to back years here. So, I might take a little sprinkle of Pavone plus 900 for a top 10 finish. Another guy who does what is it? This guy is like the definition of a first round golfer, Andrew Novak.
Oh yeah,
right. Like when he plays well, he just comes out hot for the first round. He comes out hot a lot for the first round. So I might take a little sprinkle of Andrew Novak first round leader, maybe for like a quarter of a unit, something like that. But past Pavone, there's really not many guys. Sam Ryder has a pretty decent course history.
He almost
here.
won here 2 years ago. Yeah,
he's got 2 top 10s in the last 4 years. He's plus 1,200 for a top 10 finish. He got 43rd at the MX and 21st at Sony. So he's playing all right coming into here. But like you said, he's not going up against these world beaters, right?
Yeah.
And then you go all the way down to 170 to 1. Jake Knapp. Third place here last year, 56 of the Century, missed the cut at the MX.
He withdrew with the Sony too. I think he's injured.
Yeah, all right. So
yeah, so there's not many more guys down here. I want to give a shout
to
Luke List. Luke List. I'm gonna give a shout to 350 to 1 Isaiah Salinda, a USC guy who hits the ball an absolute mile. And he's missed his first 2 cuts of the season, but he graduated from the KFT and he plays good in California. He also has a top 10 finish at the Shriners, which is not in California, but it's West Coast. And I think Salinda on a big golf course where he hits the ball like 180 ball speed, 180 mile an hour ball speed, just off the tee cruising. It's just crazy what this kid can do. Watch him play. He looks like an NFL wide receiver. And I think I really think he can make the cut. Top 40 is probably like 4-1. So I think Isaiah Salinda, just a name to keep an eye on for sure. So before we wrap this up, we'll run back.
Is this Taylor Montgomery? I'm seeing at 300-1. I mean,
Taylor Montgomery is one of the most unserious golfers on the PGA Tour.
He's got 2 top 13s here the last 3 years. I mean, he's to be top 20. He's plus 800 top 20 finish.
Let me. I want to take a look at Taylor Montgomery and see how he had to have gained infinite strokes putting in those starts that he finished top 20. So Taylor Montgomery last week he kind of played well, but he buried it late. Yeah, he just gained 5.8 strokes putting last year.
Yeah.
And 5.3. That's just like all putter, which he hasn't done in a while. I mean, he is a good putter, but it's tough to ask someone to gain 6 strokes
at the Players, he gained 6.5 strokes last year in putting. So.
Yeah, it's just he needs to do it with the putter, which I mean, he is a good putter, don't get me wrong, but it's not something that you could really rely on. Like, he's not in good ball striking form at all. So we're gonna go back through. We'll each give 2 to 3 outrights or outright / first round leaders. So I'll lead us off. I'll start with, I mentioned him before, Sahith Theegala. I think I'm going to start my card with him 30-1 and Nick Norgard 60-1. And then I'll give a long shot. So who are your 2 favorite outright first round leaders plays from the top / middle of the board?
Well, first round leader, I haven't looked at those odds yet, but my 2 outrights right now are Matsuyama plus 1,200 at Bet Online and Jason Day plus 2,500.
Okay, I do like those. Both guys have good course history. All right, now let's do some positionals. I'm gonna do 3 positionals. I think all 3 top 20s. 3 guys. Chris Gotterup, he is 5-1 to finish in the top 20. Aldrig Potgieter, he is a young South African. He's 7-1. And Alejandro Tosti, he's plus 650. All 3 of these guys possess massive off the tee potential, which at Torrey Pines, if you can gain 4 to 6 strokes off the tee, you're going to lap the field and give yourself a great head start. So all 3 of those guys can do it. Now, you still have to hit your iron shots and make putts. But if they are gaining those strokes off the tee, they should easily make the cut. And then from there, hopefully one of them can get hot. If one of them hits, you're getting a nice little return, at least 3 units. So that's Aldrig Potgieter, Chris Gotterup, and Alejandro Tosti. They range from 5 to 7-1 in the top 20 market. So you got 1 or however many you want to list off positionals?
Yeah, top 20, I'm taking Zalatoris plus 130. Like I said, he's got 3 top 13s here the last 4 years. And the only time he missed the cut was, when he was, injured. And then I got Bo Hostler plus 225, top 20. He's got 2 top 10s the last 5 years. He got 12th at the MX. And this is a guy, he usually strings together a good couple of tournaments. So, coming off 12th at the MX and with a good course history here, being, much more familiar with this course than a lot of these golfers, I think he's got a good shot at, top 20. So, but Bo Hostler plus 225 and Zalatoris plus 130.
I do like that. And I'll finish us off with a matchup, a 72-hole full tournament matchup. I'm going to take Taylor Pendrith minus 125 over Siwoo Kim. This is a golf course that Taylor Pendrith has played well here before. And when I was watching him in Hawaii, he looked like the most confident I've ever seen him. He's played okay to start the season, but it's very similar to when I saw Sepp in Hawaii. Sepp looked also extremely confident, extremely solid, and that parlayed to a win the following week. So Taylor Pendrith, I'm not sure he's going to win this week, but I like him over Siwoo Kim. Siwoo Kim played poorly at the Sony and the Amex, which are 2 courses that he generally crushes. So if Siwoo Kim can't do it on his bread and butter courses, I don't expect him to do it here. Not much juice, only minus 125. So I think Taylor Pendrith takes the cake over Siwoo this week. Do you have any matchups? It's okay if you don't, but I think I'm going to put all my eggs in that one.
Yeah, I think Siwoo should just start getting ready for the draft because he's going to the Army pretty soon.
It's coming.
My 72-hole matchup, my favorite one is Hideki Matsuyama minus 130 versus Sungjae. He's got 2 top 6s here the last 3 years. He missed the cut last year. He missed the cut at the MX. I just don't trust him at all. I think Hideki is just so much of a better golfer than Sungjae to begin with, but I think Hideki is so much more consistent. Sungjae, you just never know who's going to show up. So I'm going to take my chance that, Hideki was coming in with a week of rest. going to play a lot better than Sungjae at the Farmers. So I like Hideki minus 130 versus Sungjae. I'll probably play that for like 2 or 3 units also. So
yeah, that is a solid pick. I probably will tell you there. So that wraps it up. You got you got like 5 to 6 outrights, a bunch of positionals, a few matchups. Hopefully Mr. BTB and I can make you some money this week, but thank you for joining me. Definitely a great show. Definitely have to get together soon. And yeah, we'll talk soon for sure. You guys know where to hit us up. Anything you got to plug?
No, not really. I mean, just appreciate you guys watching, and my packages is always available on the website. So if you want to have some fun this week, come join. Otherwise,
yeah, one of the best to do it.
Stick to the free plays.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon. You guys know where to find me. And yeah, let's have some winners this week. Peace.